Hello, I'm Valerie Pritchett.
And I'm Monica Cryan. Thanks for joining us for Destination PA. We're going to highlight places across the state that you can visit for a quick getaway.
Let's start with a gem in south central Pennsylvania that draws visitors from near and far. The Wild Adventure is packed with family fun.
Yeah, this is Lake Tobias Wildlife Park here in northern Dauphin County. It actually started as a hobby of my father back in late 1950s, early 1960s, and in 1965 he opened up to the public to let people come in through to take a look at the animals.
From bison to fallow deer, elk to giraffes.
We usually do bus tours out in through the field where we have the larger animals, and we stop each of the species of animals. They tell you a little bit about them and let you hand feed them, a lot of them.
The bus tours stalled for a while during the pandemic.
Well, we had to make a few different changes this year for COVID, and the major change is that we have our safari tour is the drive-through instead.
Guests roll through safari scenes featuring 450 plus animals.
I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's so nice that we get to drive through this.
Drivers can also park and walk through the zoo for more Animal Kingdom surprises.
Petting zoo is open. You can pet, you can feed, you can purchase food in there to feed as well.
We got to see a lot of big things, actually, zebras and giraffes, so a good variety of stuff and some outdoor time. That's much needed, right, Thomas?
We love that they get to see the animals. It's not expensive. A small zoo is kind of more intimate, they get to get really close.
What a fun day. Well, the cost is $7 per person for ages 3 and up for the drive-through safari, $8 per person for a walkabout ticket, which includes the zoo. So while you're there, here are some other places you can visit in Dauphin County: Indian Echo Caverns, Susquehanna Art Museum, and Hershey Park.
There's deep history all across the Keystone State, and of course, this is where our nation was born. Millions flock to Philadelphia each year to see one of the most important buildings in American history. Kyrie Stewart gives us a look.
Millions of people come to Independence Hall here in Old City, Philadelphia each year. It's commonly known as the birthplace of our country, but there's so much more history here that a lot of people don't know about. Let's explore and check it out.
You get people from all over the country and all over the world as well.
Luke Hopley is a park ranger with the National Park Service. Every year, Hopley says that millions of people take a walk through American history at Independence Hall.
Say you would have asked George Washington or Benjamin Franklin what this building was called, they would have known it as the Pennsylvania State House. However, since it was kind of a very grand structure for colonial America, and Pennsylvania is very centrally located, it became a natural meeting point for these different colonies.
And like its namesake, this is the building where America declared its independence from Great Britain.
In 1776, the Second Continental Congress, delegates from the original 13 colonies, have a vote inside of this building that creates the United States of America.
But that's not all. 11 years later, the Constitutional Convention was held here.
What emerges is what we still use today, hundreds of years later, the United States Constitution.
And Hopley says those words on the Constitution, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, are 3 words that echo through American history.
Well, you will hear these words constantly pointed to by all different groups throughout American history who initially aren't a part of those inalienable rights. This will be a rallying cry for the abolitionist movement. It will be pointed to by the likes of Frederick Douglass arguing for, against slavery. It'll also be an interesting rallying cry during the women's suffragist movement.
Across from Independence Hall is the Independence Mall. It's an open area lined with historical buildings and artifacts, such as the Liberty Bell.
It probably rang out to celebrate the first public reading of the Declaration of Independence. Now, eventually, it cracks.
You can still see that crack today. And across from that is Congress Hall, the oldest standing Capitol building in the country.
A lot of the famous founding fathers, early American politicians would have worked within this structure. And it's also where John Adams was inaugurated to be the 2nd president of the United States.
Hopley thinks that everyone should visit Independence Park once. He thinks history is important because, like they say, those who don't understand history are doomed to repeat it.
It gives us a little bit of insight into where we came from and what kind of ideas were formulated in the beginning of our nation, and how we can sort of learn from that.
In Old City, Philadelphia, I'm Kyrie Stewart.
And while you're in Philly, be sure to check out the Bourse, a 125-year-old building that's home to an artisanal food hall. Christ Church, which was built in 1727 and taken the beautiful views of the Delaware River from Penn's Landing. Now, if your summer must include water, Presque State Park is the place to go.
It has the state's only seashore. Ryan Wilkes shows us this getaway with a breathtaking view.
This is well maintained and it's picturesque, and it's just a nice getaway, especially during COVID.
Tony Henry and her husband drove 2 hours from East Brady to visit Presque State Park.
It has everything. It's got the beaches and the kayaking and the bicycling.
Sarah Walker is a Pittsburgh school teacher enjoying her vacation. Her son wanted to visit the ocean.
Instead of driving 6 hours, this was a lot closer, and it's just as beautiful.
She says the waters at Presque Isle are just as good as any ocean or state park.
Nice. It's really nice because it's not just like one of the state parks where you go and it's kind of mucky water. It looks like an ocean, but it's not. It's a lake.
Unlike many other tourist attractions in Pennsylvania, some say the best part of Presque Isle State Park is its price.
Well, the big thing we hear is there's no charge. I mean, it's free. And visitors coming from New York State, where they have to pay to enter every state park, they're amazed.
Oliver says when it comes to the beaches at Presque Isle, pictures and videos don't do it justice. You have to see it to believe it.
The fact is that we have 7 miles of beach. That always, even though we promote we have 7 miles of beach, I don't think it makes that full impact until the visitor actually comes and walks out on the beach and actually sees how much we have.
With this week's Destination Pennsylvania, I'm Brian Wilk.
Well, while you're there, here are a few other places to visit in Erie County: the Bayfront Maritime Museum and the Erie Zoo. Every year, Williamsport, like Lycoming County, welcomes the Little League World Series, but this year, COVID-19 canceled it.
But as Morgan Parrish explains, there's still more to explore in the city, built on a rich history of baseball and millionaires.
This is Billtown. Follow me, let's check it out. Williamsport, Pennsylvania. As it sits in the county seat of Lycoming County, it is the cultural, financial, and commercial center of north central Pennsylvania.
You know, the nice thing about it is Williamsport is got a lot of amenities for a small town, but I think the key thing right now is we are a small town. There's not a lot of people here in terms of being able to get away and experience something new. Williamsport has a lot to offer.
Right off the bat, you may already know what Williamsport is really known for, and that's Little League Baseball. Founded in 1939, it serves as a staple in the community for decades. Whether you're attending the Little League World Series.
One of the great things about the World Series is the fact that we have people coming from all over the world, from nearly every continent, coming in every year to watch 12-year-olds play baseball. It's a wonderful feeling.
Or checking out the World of Little League Museum.
We had to kind of make a museum that was fun to be in for everybody. So whether you're 70 or 7, there's going to be something for you to do along the way. There's 6 different innings or 6 galleries that we have, and you know, some are sort of the traditional museum where you look at static displays, some of the older artifacts from the 1940s of Little League. And then as you go on, there's a lot of fun things to do, hands-on exhibits that allow you to really become involved in it.
To be able to give folks that opportunity to get into the baseball feel for this summer.
The atmosphere of the city will keep you reeled in. Let's take a walk down Millionaires Row.
Those who want to be able to get a taste of our history, you have the opportunity to get outside and be able to see Millionaires Row, which is just a really great setup for people who would appreciate Victorian architecture. This is a collection of Victorian homes that rival many of the other ones out there in the country.
Millionaires Row is an opportunity for people to be able to walk through the historic district and really see some of the great historical homes this community has to offer.
To me, it is grab everything, because we have so much for people to be able to experience. You know, the great thing is we've got not only those outdoor recreation amenities and the historical aspect of it, but we also have some great arts and culture from that end of it too.
So, have I convinced you yet to check out Williamsport? Billtown has something for everyone to enjoy. For Destination PA, I'm Morgan Parrish.
And up next on Destination PA, one of the most scenic areas in Pennsylvania.
A lot of people come here to check out the waterfalls.
At the Ricketts Glen State Park, where you can see a national natural landmark with more than 20 waterfalls.